Oh, I think I'll record or I'll upload this in one video. I mean that's chapter 2. I think I can upload longer videos now. I think. Hopefully. Okay, start. After arriving home, I immediately headed to the living room. Oops. The broken music box was there. I opened the book I took out from the library and began to study the structure of the music book. Music box. Just as I thought one of the gears was broken, that's why it didn't matter how much I turned the lever. The disc wouldn't turn and thus no sound would come out. But what was I was to do about the gear? What was I to do? Could I make one by following the dimensions listed in these books? Book? No, I couldn't. Without any answers, I kept turning the pages. In the back was a list of products shown by their manufacturers as well as a list of parts used. As well as a list of parts used. When I skimmed it, my eyes were fixed on a certain spot. From what I gathered, the manufacturer of the music box also made clocks, which meant that they might have used some of the same precision parts in the clock. So maybe the clock you broke have the same parts of Shiona's music box. Maybe. Unexpectedly, I remembered when I had broken Mad's clock in his shop. That clock, maybe if he has no use for it and he's just going to throw it away, then if I was able to use the gears inside the clock, maybe I could fix this music box.
Rei, 何をしてるの?
Just as I was figuring out how to fix it, Shiona entered the living room. Shiona, listen. I might be able to fix this music box using the gears from that clock in Mud's shop.
そうなの? 本当に?
I might. Shiona's smile looked happier than ever. I could see her happiness from her expression.
でも、無理はしないでね。オルゴールがなくても、歌うことはできるから。
Even without the music box. Taking the music box into her hands, Shiona began to sing. It was the same song she sang in the chapel. That strangely nostalgic song. That song that made me feel a warm glow in my chest. While Shiona gazed lovingly at the music box, I felt my resolve to fix it strengthen. I wanted to fix the music box for her, and I wanted her to be happy. These thoughts made my chest feel like it might burst. Tomorrow, I'll go to Mad's shop again. Oh my god, that's a bad idea. Maybe I could persuade him to give me his clock somehow. Maybe you should buy it. But there was one thing I was worried about. I was the one that broke the clock in the first place. I had apologized, but that didn't mean that going there would be easy. And just thinking about Matt getting angry left me terrified.
私ね、お兄ちゃんのこの歌で、いろんな人を笑顔にしたいの。
Shiona's words reached me as I wavered.
この歌はオレンジ色で、きっといろんな人の心をオレンジ色にできるの。そうなってほしいって願われて作られた歌だから。それが
I'm sure.
お兄ちゃんの願いだから。だから私ね、この歌を多くの人に聴いてほしい。そして多くの人を笑顔にしたい。それが私の願いなの。
Okay. Shiona carried on as though she were talking to herself. But her words pushed me towards my goal. I was going to Mad's shop once again the next day. And I was going to apologize for breaking his clock once again. Shiona's voice and the music box reinforced my resolve. The next day, I went to Mud's shop alone. I thought of turning back countless times along the way, but what kept me going was Shiona's smile. I wanted to look at that smile all day. And that's why I wanted to fix that music box for her. I thought about how determined I was the day before, and about what I could do for Shiona. I made up my mind and stepped into Mud's shop. Oh my god, that's so hard to say.
お前
Oh my god.
どの面下げてやってきた
Immediately after, Mud's words rolled over me like distant thunder. I wanted to run away, but I didn't. I wanted to apologize more properly for what I did yesterday.
時計のことかあれはもう謝っただろ
I'm still bothered by his nose. What? Oh, I had Shiona with me then. I wanted to try to do it myself properly.
そんなもんいらねえとっとと帰れ
Oh my god. I'm sorry, but I cannot do that. I'm really sorry for breaking your clock yesterday.
いくら謝っても時計は壊れた
Oh my god. Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm really, really sorry. I kept apologizing while keeping my head down. How much time went by like that. Finally, Mud spoke with a slightly softened tone. Oh,
顔あげろ
I did what he said. There stood Mud with what seemed to be a look of surprise on his face.
たくなんて野郎だしつこいことこの上ねえな
I'm sorry.
もう謝
Yeah, you should stop. Although he said that, it seemed to lack the anger from yesterday. I thought I noticed the sound of a small sigh coming from him.
もう用は済んだんだろとっとと帰れ
Actually, I have one favor to ask.
頼みだ俺に頼みなんていい度胸をしているな
Okay. My feet were frozen with fright, but Shiona's words pushed me forward. That clock, will you give it to me?
もう一度言ってみ ふざけるな
I froze, standing at attention like I had just been struck by lightning.
自分で壊しておいて譲れだ調子に乗るなよ
It was pointless. I had to give up. Just as I was about to run away, a voice came from behind
待
me.
ってください、マッドさん。レイは、私の兄のオルゴールを直したいだけなんです。
I thought she was at home, but there stood Shiona. Shiona stepped between me and Mud fearlessly.
兄のオルゴールが壊れてしまっていて、レイは私のためにそれを直してくれるって、そのために部品が欲しいだけなんです。
She kept smiling as she explained to Mud. What? Mud's expression slowly softened and the bright red hue drained from his face.
だからもうあの時計はないぞあんなもん捨てちまったからな
Okay.
ただ
Mud turned away from us but continued to speak.
町外れにある廃工場あそこに捨てちまったその後は知らん
Saying this, Mud sat down facing the wall.
マッドさん、ありがとうございます。
Still smiling, Shiona gave Mud a slight bow and left the shop. Thank you very much. I made the same slight bow and left the shop. Oh.
廃工場っていうのは、レイが倒れていた場所のすぐ近くで。
Yeah, she informed me as we left the shop. That's the place where you throw away trash, right?
そうよ。あそこにはいろんな場所からゴミが集まってるの。
Does Mud take items he finds there, fix them up, and sell them in his shop?
そうね。マッドさんはよくあの場所に行っているし。
It made sense, so that's why he had so much old stuff in his shop. He took things that were still usable and then proceeded to reuse them. Whatever the case, I decided to head off toward the abandoned factory. Shiona, if it's okay, could you guide me to where the garbage dump is?
ごめんなさい。今日は赤い子供たちがうちに来ることになっているの。
Oh, okay. She probably meant the children that talked to her the day before. She probably meant the children that talked to her the day before. When I thought about it, she also promised to treat them to soup.
でもレイ、一人じゃいけないよね。子供たちとの約束、
No.
断ってく
It's
る
fine,
ね。
it's fine. No, don't worry about it, Shiona. Keep your promise to them.
でも、どうやってそこまで行くの？
I'm going to go to the library. I want to look over a map and learn about this area.
図書館。
The library. Shiona's expression seemed to cloud slightly. I'm curious why. I mean, what's with Shiona and the blue girl? What's wrong, Shiona?
なんでもない。
Hey.
ねえレイ、
I
ティ
thought
ピちゃんはレイに懐いてる？
Okay. I thought she's done talking. Has TP become attached to you? At least a bit. I don't know. Good question. I wouldn't say she hates me. Why?
なんでもない。図書館ならきっと地図があるよ。いってらっしゃい。
Itterashai. Yeah, I'll check it out. See you later. Turning around, I headed toward the library. At the time, her smile seemed a bit off, like it was fraught with sorrow. Maybe she knows why she was sure her parents were that why. I think she knows why her the blue girl's parents are dead. Maybe. Oh, here we go.
Hey. 来てくれたの？
She's still crying. TP was in the same spot, still crying the same way. Hey, I'm here. Hey TP, can I ask you something?
いいよ。何？
Do you have any maps of the town in this library?
あるよ。
Okay, great. Can you show me where they are?
いいけど。
TP couldn't get the words out. What's wrong? Are you not feeling well?
そうじゃない。そうじゃないけど。
Oh, you're thinking I might go away? But...
抱っこ
Okay.
してくれる？
Will you hold me in your arms? Oh, sure, why not? TP blushed slightly. She still looked sad, but her cheeks were a bit rosier. Hold you? Do you mean like last time?
ダメ？
Is that okay? Oh, I think her father is doing that to her in the past. No, it's fine. Come over here. Okay. It's weird why she's suddenly attached to us. I mean me. Sige, okay. Us. I extended my arms and she got up, then hesitantly jumped up to my chest. I was holding her, although differently than last time. But I thought the same things. Holding her, I noticed how small and soft and fragile she was. Is this okay, TP?
いい。レイ。あったかい。
So I'm warm, so it means I have something that keeps me warm. At least the feeling when someone's holding me. I mean, Ray. TP began rubbing her cheek against my chest. I could feel my chest grow warm as she did. Was this emotion the feeling of fondness? Maybe. She looks nice. I mean, she looks... someone needs to take care of her. Yeah. I wanted to protect this girl, yeah. I wanted to stop her tears. I stayed there and held TP for a moment.
このままあっちに歩いて。
Okay. TP pointed the way to go while she snuggled against my chest. I followed her directions while I continued to hold her.
どうして地図がいるの？
Apparently, there's an abandoned factory near the town, and that's where I want to go.
どうして
Oh,
廃工場に？
I'm looking for a part, and it might be there.
昨日見てた。
Yeah, yes, yes,
こ
yes,
れが
yes.
あるの？
Yeah, that's right. I want to fix Shiona's brother's music box no matter what.
塩なの。
I say it'd be nice if you
そ
found
う、
it. Yeah, it's
見
nice.
つかるといいね。
As I carried her, TP led me directly to the shelf that held the book of maps. Did you really memorize where each book is?
うん、
Oh,
だいたい。
that's amazing. Did someone teach you?
ううん。
No, I don't know.
お父さんとお母さんを待ってる
So
間
it
に。
means you're waiting
Story
for a
there.
long time. After saying the words mommy and daddy, TP's eyes began to well up.
こ
I think this is it.
れかな。
I took out a book of maps just to change the subject. Sitting down right there, I opened the book. This one also had hand-drawn maps, just like the book about music boxes. Were all the books in this library handwritten? Their number was phenomenal, if that were so. Just who in the world had written so many books by hand? I almost felt faint on contemplating the endless stretches of time required for such work. This is pretty beaten up. How old is this book? By the way, it's really, really, really,
わ
really
か
old.
んない。ずっとずっと、ずーっと前の本だよ。
Okay. I thought it was a map from decades ago, but the building seemed to be in the same location as in the town right now. There were some pages that were badly discolored, as though tea had been spilled on them. Some were even stuck together. I suspected they'd rip if I pulled on them. I flipped through the pages carefully. Oh, I think this may be it. I found a symbol for the factory located in the north of the town. Judging by the distance from Fiona's house as well, it was very likely that this was the place.
レイ、行っちゃうの？
Hmm,
行かないで。
You should come with me, you know. Just a thought, at least someone was with me. Pippi began clinging to my neck. I patted her tiny back countless times. Don't worry, I'll be back again.
本当にまた来てくれる？
You came back now, right? Of course, I promise.
絶対だよ。
Yeah.
絶対また来てね。
Yeah, I promise. Yeah, I crossed my heart and hope to die. I kept promising over and over to Pippi. Why did I do that? I don't know. Regardless, I felt wrong when I left. A feeling bubbled up inside me and urged to stay there with Pippi forever. I pushed down the feeling and made my way out of the library. As I entered the ruined factory that the map led me to, I could smell oxidized oil. Apparently, this factory used to produce arms and legs for Phiroids like me. There were unfinished Phiroid arms and legs scattered all around me. None of them had artificial skin applied to them yet, so the machinery was clearly visible. Looking closely, I could see that they were built the same as my own right hand. I knew these were just inanimate objects, but it was still a creepy sight. Yeah, I can imagine that. I tried to push away some of the scattered arms with my right hand. The echo of metal hitting metal echoed sadly through the factory. I decided I should come back here if any part of my body were to break. There were plenty of spare parts to be found here. There were several large drums full of oil in the back. Most most were oxidized, but there were some unopened ones too. If I ever ran out of oil, I figured I could come here for maintenance where no one would see me. The farther I walked into the factory, the more my worries seemed to fade away. Wait, I was thinking maybe Shiona already saw my hand when she was taking care of me when I passed out last time. I mean the first day. Just maybe because it's weird if no one tries to remove my gloves. But maybe not because but they respect my privacy and personal space. Maybe. This abandoned factory was sure to be an unimportant place for me, but I couldn't find the one thing I was looking for. That was, of course, the clock that Mad supposedly left here. But there were no clocks in this factory or anything that looked like trash at all. Perhaps the trash was thrown away outside rather than inside the factory? Let's check. Let's go. I left the factory for a moment to look around outside. Just behind the factory, I found a whole area piled high with machine parts. There was a lot of trash strewn around among the machine parts as well. It must have been the town dump. Oh my god, that's a lot. It. There were probably more people than just Mad who came here to look for things they could use. I looked up at the mountain of trash, several times taller than myself. So, where could it be? There was a huge amount of trash. Conducting a systematic search would be a back-breaking job. But there was nothing else I could do. I immediately got to work, starting with the pile at my feet. I don't know how long it took. It had been a long while since I'd felt any sense of time passing. My hands were filthy from having moved the metal plates and oil-covered containers. My clothes were slick with oil and large stains had appeared all over them. But even then, I continued to cross the carpets of trash, swim through filthy rivers, and bathe under scrub metal waterfalls. Finally, I found it. The clock from Mad's shop. The one I broke yesterday. I found it. I picked it up and watched its hand closely. Of course, they weren't moving. I put it up to my ear, but it made no sound. This was only to be expected since I'd broken it. This clock would probably never tell time again. That realization felt like a small stab to the chest. I clutched the clock gently to my body and started walking back the way I'd come.
おかえりなさい。
Okay. Shiona greeted me kindly. I'm back. Here it is. I held out my oil-stained prize, and Shiona smiled pleasantly.
本当だ。ありがとう。ほら、着替えて着替えて。
Shiona gave me a towel and a change of clothes. I wiped off the oil and then went to the living room. Shiona greeted me again there.
レイ、疲れてるでしょ？ご飯食べて休んで。
Yeah, I'm tired. I don't know why. No, I'm fine. I want to get right to work.
大丈夫？レイの体が心配だよ。
I'm fine. For some reason, I don't feel tired at all right now.
でも、ご飯食べないと。
Yay. Okay. Yeah, I know. I'll eat later, so you go ahead and eat now.
わかった。
And eat
頑張って
now.
ね。
Shiona left the living room. I watched her leave and then got to work. Oh, here's the book. I opened up the book I borrowed from the library. This music box was made so that when someone turned the handle, gears of different sizes turned against each other, spinning a disc at a set speed. Apparently, turning the handle faster wouldn't speed up the song at all. I was really impressed by that technology. I followed the book's assembly instructions backwards and took the music box apart. Then I compared which part were visible part way through. I noticed that the drive gear was broken. Due to its high precision, a simple break in just one tiny part caused it to stop working. I suddenly found myself looking at my right hand. First, I would need to search the clock for something the size of the cracked gear. Next, I started taking the clock apart. Oh, this is the clock. It looks so nice. That's why Mad's so. Mad is so mad. Okay. I took off the case and used a screwdriver to remove the screws. When I removed the case, I could see the machinery inside. It was full of gears, far more precise than those in the music box. One of them, a rather large gear, had a broken axle. That's what prevented it from working. That was probably where I'd broken it yesterday. Mud threw away the clock because there was no replacement gear of the same size. Fortunately, the broken gear wasn't one of the sizes I need for the music box. Taking things apart made me feel awkward somehow. After all, I had to break the clock in order to fix the music box. Yeah. Maybe I felt this way because I knew exactly what I was. Maybe. I hesitated a bit, but then took apart the clock as carefully as possible to show it some respect. Nice, nice, that's nice. I lined the clock's gears up on the table by size and compared them to the one from the music box. There it is. I had found a gear that was roughly the same size. Now, all I had to do was follow the book's instructions and transplant it into the music box. I think this should do it. Now the disc, blech. Now the disc should spin without any problems. I replaced the casing and then I turned the handle. I could feel some resistance, but the handle wouldn't turn. Maybe you need oil. That was strange. What was wrong? I looked back at the book. The parts were correct and I put them in the right places. I tilted my head in confusion and took the casing off again. Then I turned the handle with the casing still off. The gears were definitely aligned correctly. But perhaps because it hadn't been used in a while, the oil was all dried up. See? I'm right. Maybe that's why the handle wouldn't turn. What to do? Should I go to Shiona and borrow some of her cooking oil? No, that wouldn't work. Cooking oil probably wasn't the same as the oil used to grease gears. It might work at first, but then cause problems later on. So then what should I do? What should I? Okay, there's no do. Then I looked at my own right hand. Oh, it was covered with the glove, but there were exposed machine parts beneath that. Perhaps the oil used in my own hand would work. Oh, that worked. Okay. I took off my glove and looked closely at my right hand, at the machinery that was now clearly visible. There was oil inside it to make it move smoothly. I stuck the screwdriver into my palm near the base of my thumb. When I removed the casing, I could see all the machinery used to move my hand like wire cylinders and shafts. There was oil inside one of those cylinders. It was easily removable to make it possible to replace the old oil. I used my left hand to take out the cylinder and drip oil from inside it onto the music box gears. I spread the oil around my fingertips to get it on all the gears. Will this work? I put the cylinder back into my right hand and replaced the casing. After hiding my mechanical hand inside the glove again, I nervously turned the crank. At first it moved awkwardly, but as I turned the handle, the gears began to turn smoothly. At some point, the oil must have worked itself in between all the gears, and the handle began turning without catching at all. And then that melody started to play. Oh.
その曲
Yeah, it sounds nice. I'm not sure if you can hear it, guys. Wait. Hear that? That's so nice. Shiona suddenly came into the room. Yeah, I fixed it, Shiona.
ありがとうありがとうレイありがとうとっても嬉しい
Yeah. Shiona smiled more brightly than I'd ever seen before. Just seeing her smile like that made the warmth build up inside my chest. And then I noticed, oh, this must be it. This was the joy felt like. This was what joy felt like. In that moment, I felt joy. I was overjoyed to see Shiona smile. And for the first time, I felt like I'd done something useful.
ありがとうレイありがと
Shiona took my hand and thanked me again and again. As her face drew close to mine, I could feel my own grow hot.
うレイの頑張りのおかげでオルゴールが治ったんだよ私が諦めていたまたあの曲を聴くことができるのお兄ちゃんが作ったオレンジ色のこの曲を
Hey Shiona, sing it for me. Let me hear your brother's song.
もち
Ochiron. I turned the handle on the music box. The melody began to play. Shiona clasped her hands in front of her chest and started singing along with the melody. It was the song she'd been singing when we met. The song that Shiona's brother wrote. That orange-colored song. I felt like I finally understood it. The feeling inside me, it was joy. Shiona's song, and Shiona's happiness as she sang it. Just watching her sing made me overflow with joy. Shiona sang more happily than ever before. That day, Shiona kept singing until she fell asleep. And I listened closely, lost in the song. Shiona asked me again and again to play the song for her. She kept singing until I could hardly keep moving my arm. And as I watched her expression, I thought, I want to be together with Shiona forever. If Shiona wished for that too, I could be with her always. But for that to be possible, I couldn't let my true self to be discovered. Absolutely not. That day, I was more determined than ever to stay with Shiona forever.
ねえレイ
It was night, and the room had grown dark. As we lay side by side in our beds, Shiona spoke to me. What?
私のお願い聞いてくれる
Sure. What is it?
あのね私はこの曲をいろんな人に聴いてもらいたいのそして笑顔にしたいのお兄ちゃんが作ったこの曲でいろんな人を幸せにしてあげたいの
Happy? I knew the word itself, but I didn't know exactly what it meant. Was it a strange of being, or was it an emotion? I repeated the word happy to myself again and again in my head.
それでね手伝ってほしいの
Help! What do you want me to do?
明日ね広場に一緒に行ってほしい
Just nice, sure.
そして
Uh-oh.
明日ね広場に一緒に行ってほしいそしてオルゴールを回してほしい
And you'll sing it, right, Shiona?
ええそうそして一人でも多くの人に聞いてほしいお兄ちゃんが作ったあのオレンジ色の曲を
Yes, I'd like that too. Of course, aloud.
ありがとうレイ
I heard the sheets rustle. What is it, Shiona?
ね
Hey, Ray.
えレイ
Can I hold your hand? Oh my god, what?
繋いでもいい？
It was too dark for me to see Shiona's expression, but I think she was blushing. Uh, you want to hold hands with me?
うん。
Oh my god.
レイと繋ぎたい。
I mean, it's fine, you know.
ダ
Personally,
メ？
should be fine. But why? I searched through all my knowledge. I knew that sometimes people held hands, but I thought that held a special meaning for young men and women.
レイ？
Sure, it's fine. It's fine. Let her hold her hands. If Shionas wanted something, I wanted to grant it to them. Fortunately, she was to my left. Since my hand covered with artificial skin was on that side, I didn't think it would be a problem. I reached out toward the bed next to mine. Okay, it's different bed. Okay. My hand felt cold in the chilly room. Moon. I searched blindly for Shiona's hand. Oh. When I touched it, it felt warm. Shiona's hand clasped my own.
暖かいね。レイ。
Yes. Yeah, you're warm too, Shiona. We held hands. Our fingers intertwined naturally, without either of us really initiating it. I felt the warmth spread, and it wasn't just the body warmth from our hands. This was different from my artificial warmth. It was human warmth.
レイ。もっと強く。
Tsuyoku. Like this?
ん？
What? I'm sorry, did that hurt?
うんうん。思った以上に強かっただ
It
け。
sounded so weird with that kinda nice, like,
ん？
that's like wet sand, you know. That's like I think maybe. How's
うん。
this? It's good.
ありがとう。
It's so fun.
レイ。
We held hands all night long. Our hands were still clasped together when the morning light woke us. The next day, we filled the plaza with sound. Shiona and I started performing. Shiona sang. I played her brother's music box. At first, no one wondered by. But little by little, people gathered to hear Shiona's singing voice. First one, the two people stopped, and soon there was a small ring of them. Not long after that, the ring of people grew larger, and once deserted plaza bustled with activity. Don't tell me something will happen in this area, please no. Everyone there was entranced by Shiona's song. A young couple leaned in close to each other and held hands. An old woman closed her eyes with deep emotion. A young man gazed at a young lady standing little ways away. Parents and children laughed happily together. The children were moving their bodies along with the music. They were all listening to Shiona's song in their own way. But they had one thing in common. They were all smiling. Everybody listened to Shiona's song had smiles on their faces. I too felt a warm deep down in my chest, knowing that I was helping to make all of these people smile. I understood. This is what it is to feel happy. The emotion I felt yesterday when I saw Shiona smile. This is really it. Happiness. I was happy. I felt my cheeks lift a little. I must have been smiling. I probably looked a little awkward, but I didn't mind. If it brought me even a little closer to Shiona, that was enough for me. The newly fixed music box kept playing its melody without a hitch. The handle spun easily. The sounds from the disc echoed and were amplified by the wooden box and spread throughout the air. Shiona called it an orange-colored melody, and along with the melody, Shiona sang, "I wish this time could continue on forever. This time spent making people smile, and I wanted to keep watching Shiona's happy face as she sang, forever." I happened to glance toward the library at the edge of the town. I thought I saw closed curtains move a little. For just a moment, I saw a small figure. I knew who it was. That blue girl who was always crying. It was Tippy. She was probably crying now too. All alone in that library. Just thinking about it, I felt a small pain in my chest. It was like a thorn had pricked me. I wondered how Tippy felt as she watched this crowd of people. This constantly growing circle of smiles. Everyone here was smiling and sharing the same emotion. But I noticed just one person among them with a scowl on his face. It was Mad, with an angry expression and his arms crossed in front of him. He looked completely out of place, the only one there with an angry expression in his face. As our eyes unexpectedly met, his were filled with an emotion I still didn't understand. It didn't even last a whole second. After an instant, Mad snorted, turned on his heel, and disappeared into the crowd. And I watched him go. I thought, I want to make everyone smile, even those who appeared sad or angry. I wanted to give smiles to TP and Mand. But what could I do? I continued to think about it as I turned the music box crank. After the song was finished, I walked alone to Mad's shop. Maybe he lost something. I don't know. It's pretty obvious. That's why he is acting like that, and he is really nice deep inside. I think it's just that someone or something is hurting him. I couldn't get his scowl out of my mind. His shop was as dim and gloomy as ever, and I stepped timidly inside. There were no customers there. Mad was sitting alone at the register. But there was something strange about him. He wasn't lying back on the chair with legs outstretched as he had before. He was just staring at something he held in his hands. Something square like a chip. His expression was as stern as ever, but also looked somehow lonely. Mad? When I spoke to him, Mad looked startled and hurriedly hid the chip inside his hand.
何の用だお前、なんで勝手に入ってきた
Bargain, I thought anyone was free to come into a shop.
せげるな
Oh my god.
俺の許可なしで店に入るとはフラチな野郎だ
He was highly irrational. But for you not to even notice me enter, you must have been concentrating very hard on that chip.
チップだ
The chip you're hiding in your hand.
俺はそんなもの隠してなんかいない
Oh my god, stop pushing him. But I saw it. If you're not hiding anything, why would... Oh my god, it's a bad idea, you know. You should stop. Why don't you open your hand and...
うるせえ
Shut up.
出ていけそしてもう二度と来るんじゃね
Maybe they realize that I am a Phiroid, and somehow the fear that looked at me, or maybe it's me that I'm just reformatted or something like that. Diet or something. I don't know. It's whatever. Maybe. It's a stretch, but you know, it's still an idea. And then I left. Of course. Pushed back by the force of his words, I was kicked out of Mud's shop. I'd come to try to make Mud smile, but somehow I ended up doing the opposite because, oh yeah, you did the opposite. Because, oh my god, you made him even angrier. What the heck? I'd like to come to make Mad smile, but somehow I ended up doing the opposite. Yeah. You shouldn't have done that.
レイ、どうしたの？
What's wrong, Ray? Shiona was waiting for me outside of the shop. At the sight of her smile, my chest grew a little warmer. Oh, why are you here, Shiona?
例の行き先が気になったから追ってきたの。
You shouldn't have done that. I came here hoping to make Mud smile, but I just made him angry again.
マッドさんを笑顔にか。
It's very
それ
difficult.
はとっても難しいことだよね。
Okay.
だから気にすることないよ。
Sure,
マッド
okay.
さんが怒るのはいつものことだから。
Yeah. But he seemed angrier than usual today.
いつもより何かあったの？
I don't really know. I'm not sure exactly, but I asked about the chip. Oh my god, yeah. Shouldn't.
チップ？
Chip? Who? A square chip that fit in the palm of his hand. Mad was staring at it. I made a square with my fingers to show the size of the chip Mad had been looking at. Shiona must have known something about it because her eyes went wide.
もしかしてそのチ
Yes,
ッ
I
プのこ
did.
とを聞いたの？
I know it's kind of bad. Yes, and then he suddenly got all angry.
うん、
I see.
そう
Okay.
か。レイ、それは仕方ないことだよ。
I know I should. Couldn't be helped? What do you mean?
そのチップはマッドさんの宝物だから。
It's fairly obvious. Mad's treasure. What's on it?
マッドさんの息子さんが撮った映画が入っているはずよ。
His son's movie. Is Mad's son a movie director?
ええ、そうよ。と言ってもこの町からはかなり前に出て行ったきり
Sorry.
戻ってきていないけど。
Shiona looked out the window as she spoke. She looked a little troubled, but she was still smiling. It was a complicated expression with a mix of both emotions. But why would he just look at the chip? He should watch the actual movie.
それが無理なの。あのチップを再生できる
Maybe
機
I
械
can do some.
この町にはないから。
I can fix something on that garbage dump, or maybe create one. Maybe. So Matt just stares at it because he wants to watch it but can't.
きっとそうだと思う。恥ずかしがり屋だから口にはしないけどね。
Just then I had a thought. I thought of a way to bring a smile to the face of even the ever angry Matt.
どうしたの？レイ。
Oh, nothing. I want to make a stop somewhere, Shiona. So go on back without me.
寄りたいところ？
Yes, I want to look something up.
図書館？
Yes. Shiona seemed somehow surprised. Maybe she was worried about me since I wasn't quite used to this town yet. I promise I won't be late. I made a point of telling her that so I wouldn't burden her with too much worry. Shiona opened her mouth like she wanted to say something, but then closed it again. And then just once, for just an instant, she lightly bit her lower lip, then smiled. That's weird.
わかった。
Oh my god, what's with that
気をつけて
girl?
ね。レイ。
What's your problem with... I forgot the name. Tipi. I parted with Shiona in front of Mud's shop and started walking alone through town. As usual, the library was dimly lit and full of stagnant air. I walked straight through the maze-like room without hesitation to the blue girl who was always crying. Why?
レイ、
Oh my god.
疲れたの？
When Tipi saw me, she stood up and came running up to me. I gently hugged her face frame. Yes, I promised after all.
ありがとう、レイ。嬉しいよ。
Tippy buried her face in my stomach. I could tell that she was crying. Tippy, what were you up to?
お絵かきだよ。こっちに来て、レイ。
Tippy took my hand and followed where she led. Papers and crayons were scattered around the area where Tippy had been sitting. There was a half-finished drawing among the papers. Did you draw this, Tippy?
うん。毎日一枚ずつ描いてるの。
As Tippy spoke, she started working on her drawing again. I looked at her picture. It showed a singing girl and a boy playing a music box, so that's us. Tippy, is
レイと
this?
シオナだよ。
Yeah,
広場で歌っているところ。
so Tippy really had been watching us through the curtains after all. When I imagined Tippy watching us all on her own, so for some reason my chest stung a little.
レイ、どうしたの？
Yeah. The girl was looking up at me with eyes full of grief. Trying to comfort her, I put my hand on Tippy's head. It's alright, it's nothing. That's a really good drawing.
ありがとう。
Who is she? As I patted her head, Tippy drew closer to me. But her face looked so sad and lonely. From the bottom of my heart, I wanted to see her smile. Do I have a heart though? You said you draw a picture every day. Do you have your other drawings?
あるよ。
Oh, nice.
レイ、
Kochi. Tippy stood up, grabbed my hand, and led me deeper into the library. And there were her drawings. Tippy must have put them on up herself. Several drawings were displayed quite low on the wall.
これが昨日描いた絵。これがその前の日。これがその前の日ね。
Tippy explained her each drawing to me. There was a picture of a boy and a girl holding hands. A picture of a boy visiting the girl and another girl. Then a picture of a girl crying all alone. So that was it. That's art drawing. That's our story, actually, I think. After those first few drawings, picture after picture showed the girl crying alone. After I came here, Tippy wasn't alone anymore. In the drawings, the girl's expression seemed to be growing softer. That must have been an expression of Tippy's own emotions. But her expression was still full of grief. I really wanted to make this girl smile as well. But what could I do to help her? Bring her parents. I couldn't think of an answer. The only thing I could think was the time was to spend time with Tippy like this.
ねえ、レイ。今日はどんな本を探しに来たの？
You know I'm looking for a book today. Okay. Still looking sad, Tippy tagged on my sleeve and looked up to me at me. I'm looking for some equipment that can play a video. Is there a book that could help me with that?
あるよ。
It's a little far away
ここ
though.
から少し遠い場所だけど。
Can you show me, please?
うん。いいよ。
Then Tippy spread both her arms wide. The teddy bear in her right hand was now dangling in the air. You want me to carry you, you know. What is it?
抱っこして。
I picked Tippy up. Like before, Tippy rubbed her cheek against my chest.
あっちだよ。
I started following her directions to the book I was looking for. The book was on the second floor of the library. There was a whole corner of the shelves with books about projectors, old and new from around the world.
読みたい本はきっとここ。
All of the books here were handwritten like the music box book and the map. But it seemed there were many kinds of projectors, and some were made to use film or discs.
探しているのはどんなの？
Do you know something that can play from a chip about this size? I show her the size of Mud's chip with my fingers.
マ
I think one of the corners was cut across diagonally. I hadn't gotten a really close look at it, so I couldn't say with confidence.
その形はマットさんの持っているチッ
It's
プ？
exactly it. Yes, I'm talking about Mad's ship. I was surprised that TP knew about Mad, but it wasn't really strange, since he was the owner of the town's general store. After all, Shiona knew about Mad's chip too, maybe the whole town knew. And maybe everyone who knew that Mad was too stubborn to try to watch it.
ね。
Tippy stood up on her tiptoes and pointed to a book on a shelf she could just barely reach. You're amazing, Tippy. You really do know where every book is. Okay. Tippy pressed her face against my stomach. I stroked her head as I picked up the book and what the heck? Looked inside. It was more like an instruction manual than a book. Mume incorporated projectors. It also had clear and simple details about its internal structure and wiring. Apparently, it was a portable oblique projector that could display the content from discs on screens or white walls. If I could find this machine, I could show Mad a video on his chip.
もう行っちゃうの？
Thank you, TP. I got the information I wanted. Are you going already? TP looked up at me sadly. Yeah, I'm sorry. Oh my god, I could stay. I want to stay with this character. Maybe TP was trying to keep me from leaving. It's obvious. She grabbed onto me. Her innocent warmth shook my resolve, but I had to leave. Right then, I wanted to make Mad happy. I wanted to see Mad smile. TP, I promise, I swear, I'll come back tomorrow. Yes.
本当に？
Yes. Yes, I will come. Oh my god.